You're watching Bear Down Sports, the best Chicago Bears content. Now buckle up and bear down.
What's up, what's up, what's up? Claws up, bear down. I don't know why, for some reason today, I'm more excited about the Bears than I've been since the draft. Like, I'm just like giddy about this team. This team is so freaking exciting to me to follow, to watch, to see this develop. It feels like something special is happening. It really does. It feels like this is something that I haven't experienced. I'm in my 40s, and I've been excited about things. I've been excited about Devin Hester. I've been excited about different receivers. I've been excited about the quarterbacks when they came, but this feels different. And I'm so excited about it. And I can't contain myself. So this is going to be a good video today. I've been putting work into this one for a while, and I think I'm going to give you guys some ammunition that you might not have had before, some things that you probably don't realize. I don't mean to hate on the Packers. I don't mean to. In fact, one of my better family friends is a Packer fan. We have a civil relationship. We're cordial with each other. When football season happens, I have a hard time biting my tongue a little bit. It's natural as a Bears fan. But there's so many things that the Packers are being hyped up for that I'm starting to understand how other teams have felt about the Bears in the past when the Bears were hyped unnecessarily. And I'm going to try not to let my bias get in the way. That's why I put the title of it as an unbiased. And I really did. You're going to see that. You're going to see I try to put the bias aside, give the Bears a fair ranking, give the Packers a fair ranking. And you're going to see there's some things that I have a hard time doing that with. But you're also going to see that there's some reason behind it. Even when the whole Justin Fields thing went on, I always have a basis behind my reasoning. I don't just put things out there because they're fun or without reason or because I want to antagonize the Packers. I've got basis behind it. So I'm going to show the basis behind it. But I'm really happy the Bears are in the position they are and the Packers are in the position they are. So if you guys don't mind, I haven't looked at any of the chat yet. Put an FGB in the chat. I just really, really, really don't like the Packers. I don't like them. And I'm going to look forward to when they're in the gutter and when they can stop saying, well, we've won 10 straight games against you, and we won this, and when's the last time you won a Super Bowl? And we've had 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks in a row, and they're acting like they have a 3rd Hall of Fame quarterback in a row. Give me a freaking break. Give me a break. So before we get into it, though, before we get into the fun that I've created for this video, I didn't want to do too much on minicamp starting. I didn't, because there's so much out there, and there's so little to derive off of that. The reality is, we know what this time of season is. We know this is for the camaraderie, for the building, for putting this team together, and for making this team cohese together. Oh, I saw a green pop. Eric, you're always, bro, you don't have to do that, but you guys are the best. Eric, thank you. FGB, exclamation mark. I love the exclamation mark. If you guys didn't see it on YouTube earlier, it was yesterday. I made a stupid short. I'm kind of embarrassed by it, but it was fun, of just melting cheese, because the cheese heads are melting right now. They're just melting with everything that's happening. It's so funny because on one hand, they'll talk about Jordan Love like he's the next great quarterback, like he's a Hall of Famer already. And then they'll talk about Caleb Williams and bring up his tweets, Caleb Williams' tweets from 7 years ago when he's in high school, where he says, I'm riding with my Packers. Well, they'll say that and they'll say, well, Caleb loves the Packers. He's going to come here in 4 years and 5 years when his rookie contract's up. All right, so you have a Hall of Fame quarterback who's young and you want Caleb? All right, let your jealousy show a little bit harder, okay? So thank you, Eric Harper. Thank you all for tuning in. Love all of you guys sincerely. So let's do a little recap of minicamp today because I don't want to get too far into minicamp. Minicamp is what it is. They're building relationships right now. They're learning the playbook. They're getting together. They're cohesing. And yeah, there was a lot of good things, but I take more out of like listening to the press conferences afterwards. And we can go here. We'll look at some fun stuff here real quick. This is from minicamp. We'll pull this, make it big. Kevin Byard, keep the camera on me today. And he had a pick. He had a pick today on the 11 on 11s. So prophetic. I'm really glad we have Kevin Byard. I think it's a huge upgrade from Eddie Jackson. And don't get me wrong, I don't dislike Eddie Jackson. I really liked Eddie Jackson. It's just his time kind of played out, and he kind of played past the big contract he signed. So he was kind of done. And then there's this one. This is the big punt from Torrey Taylor. Look at this thing. He punts it from what, the 30-yard line, the 35-yard line, and watch this. Boom. Seriously, this is so fun to watch. Like, I never thought I would enjoy watching punting. Then look at the side spin on it. That did not spin into the end zone. Watch this. Boom, side spin. Oh, I don't know why it's showing that. Anyways, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this stuff. An ad. Here's the lineman coming out. Tevin Jenkins. This must not have sound. I really like our offensive line group. There's so much potential with this offensive line group. So much more depth than last year. That's the biggest thing I like, is the depth we have. All right, here's, looks like Keenan Allen. Caleb Williams. Nice and smooth. I mean, there's only so much you can derive from this, guys. And I think overall, Jaquan Brisker. Yeah, that's all we got for right now. Oh, is that DeMarcus Walker? Coming out with some style. I haven't seen all this. Anyways, you can roll through. You can see a bunch of stuff. There's a pass to DJ Moore that was on there today. DJ Moore caught one over no look, basically last second track that. He's really, really good at that. Keenan Allen's really good on his route running. And what you're hearing is Rome Odunze is adjusting to the NFL level quicker than a normal rookie. That he has a knowledge and a way of going about the field that is going to make him adapt super quick. And I love hearing stuff like that. I really, really love hearing stuff like that, because he's going to be an immediate impact player, and he's already got a relationship built with Caleb Williams. But the things I love hearing are Matt Eberflus. I mean, he talked about how the team's doing really well. They're progressing on different things. They need to work on the cadences right away. That's something that college quarterbacks struggle with, and they're going to work on that this week. Keenan Allen the funnest thing was Keenan Allen talked about how the defense is a top 5 defense, and they're showing it. But Caleb is competitive, and so he's looking like an NFL quarterback already. A lot of people overlooked that he said that. He's looking like an NFL quarterback, but he's got a lot of work on. I mean, there's so much to work on at this point. It's hard to report on any of that stuff right now. But the top 5 defense sounds like a top 5 defense, so they're already out there chirpy. They're already out there chirping and having some fun. And yeah, Kevin Byard had an interception today, but then on other parts of the day, Caleb Williams dominated them and was threading balls in super tight, and they made it sound like he was getting right into windows really perfectly. On 7-on-7s, apparently he really dominated. On 11-11s, he did really well, except for the 2-minute drill, which, I mean, this is normal. He's got to learn to adapt. He's playing a top 5 defense. I'm not worried about any of that stuff. Every single player reported. Only Montez Sweat and Nate Davis weren't really participants. Not going to spend a lot of time on this stuff. I don't like that Nate Davis didn't participate, but it is mandatory mini camp. It's not training camp. They're not out there every day. Some guys that are veterans have a routine. Even Montez Sweat said, no, it's not an injury. It's just about my routine. I have a routine down, and I trust him. I'm not going to get hard on Nate Davis right now until we get to training camp if he's not practicing at that point, because we know he has the ability to be a top guard in this league. But he didn't show that last year. But I excused him a lot, and he had a lot of personal stuff going on, and we have a deeper team this year, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons that we brought Ryan Bates over. I really do believe it's because of Nate Davis. I don't know if the Bears are sold on Nate Davis, and we have an out after this year on his contract. So, a lot to go over. Oh, the other thing. Sorry, before I get to what we're talking about today is the positional groups. Montez Sweat, in his individual interview afterwards, there were 3 of them. There was Cole Kmet, which was really good because he was talking about Keenan Allen and his unique route running. Caleb's progressions doing really well. There was Montez Sweat, and then there was Keenan Allen. But Montez Sweat, when they asked him about Austin Booker, they said he just glowed about him. I mean, he was glowing. And guys, if you haven't seen my Booker video, go watch it. And it doesn't even do justice to the real video that got flagged that I couldn't post. Austin Booker, to me, is going to be a special player. I hyped him up before the draft. I said we could take him at 375 instead of Amagaji. I also said I wanted Amagaji. There was a poll I put out where I said, which one do you guys want? Because I'm torn. I want either one of these guys. Austin Booker fell all the way to 140s, 148 for us, and we ended up getting him, and his only downfall is he's just not polished. He just doesn't have a ton of experience. He didn't start in college. But if you watch his tape, he's so much fun to watch. I went to his pro day in Dallas for the Big 12 pro day. I watched him. People were cheering for him. He was making such, I mean, it's pro day. It's like the combine. All they're doing is running and doing drills. But there were people cheering because they were excited about him. So he's going to be fun. He's going to be fun for us to watch. Sorry, I am not checking the chat yet. We'll do it. I love this squeegee. I'm a pancake your ass. I assume you guys are talking about Karan Amagaji. What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. We got so many good guys. Yeah, Swifty said Davis didn't practice. That's true. So Davis and Sweat didn't practice, but they were full. I should have said full attendance. I think I said full participants, full attendance. Davis and Sweat did not participate, but they were there. They were in Hallis Hall. They were in attendance. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of what we're doing today. This is the Free Talk Tuesday, just so you guys know. I am doing one every Tuesday. I've got some things that are coming up this summer. We're going to do my very best. I am doing a lot for the channel off what you guys don't see, and there's going to be some fun things coming up. I'm going to try to have it ready for the season. We're doing some rebranding. I'm going to try to do some more things that you'll see coming up, and I'm going to try to get a better schedule lined up. But I'm going to keep the Free Talk Tuesday, and I'm going to give you guys as many updates as I can around the girls and their schedule in summer. I do have one of them having a birthday. We're going to go down to California to some of the theme parks and Legoland and Disneyland and do some fun things for them. So I'll be off a little bit, but that's all going to be during this downtime. When the season starts, we're going to try to hit this thing up, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So thanks for being here. All right, so let's get into this. Position by position rankings, unbiased, best of the best, NFC North. Where does everyone stand? Now, right off the gate, I'm going to tell you, it's going to look biased from the very first one. So I'm going to do a more thorough job explaining the very first positional ranking, and I won't do as much explaining it after that point. So the very first one, I'm just going to get right into it. So there's going to be offense, there's going to be defense, and these are all the positions we're going to go over. I don't want this to be a super long video, but this is my honest and thorough breakdown of the teams in the NFC North and where they stand. And by the time we're done, I don't do good at doing spoilers. By the time we're done, I'm going to show that this is going to be a two-division race. This is going to be the Bears and the Lions. I do not think the Packers will be a factor in this. I think we'll sweep the Packers this year. I'm not trying to be a homer. I'm not trying to be biased. I'm going to tell you guys right now there's reason for that. All right, so we see one more down there. Evie, thanks. D-Walk didn't practice per Sean Hammond. I thought that was Walker coming out of the building, but I could be wrong. So maybe he didn't practice as well, but everyone was there. Everyone was in attendance. All right, so number one. Oh, yeah, I forgot to put this. So this is from PFF. So this is their projecting starting lineups for each of our teams. You're going to see it's wrong right off the bat. I mean, look right down there. They'll see our third edge is Dominique Robinson. Now, I have heard Dominique Robinson is doing a decent job in camp. I think his butt's on the line right now to be cut. So we'll see what happens with Dominique Robinson. I think having a new line coach, having a new defensive coordinator is giving everyone a fresh chance and opportunity, and this defensive line apparently today did pretty well. So the Bears are on the left. I'm going to go through all four teams real quick, and this is what their PFF grades were last year. Now, this does not mean everything, because if you look down at Ryan Bates, 78.7, that's for like 25 snaps. It doesn't mean anything. So all these things, and there's other teams have the same thing. Now, one's like Frank Ragnow for the Lions right next to us. If you look over there at center, 88.8, that's real. That's legit. He is the number one center in the league. And he's earned that. So the ones with the apostrophe or the asterisk, you see Caleb Williams, 90.3. These are their college PFF grades. So they're going to hold a little bit weight or bearing. I didn't know that, Evie. So thanks for clarifying that. Let's go. Jason, it's going to happen. I'm predicting it now. I've got my different predictions for the years. I would put money on it. I'm going to put money on it. I'm going to post on here when I go down to the casino, which is like literally a quarter of a mile from my house, and I put money on these Packers games. I'm going to post it on here so you guys can see it. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I truly believe we're going to sweep the Packers this year. All right, so getting back into it. And other things like Tremaine Edmonds having a 56.6. That was low for the year. He was playing through some injuries. He was playing through some different things. Also, on the other side, you see the Lions, 55.4 from Marcus Davenport. I think that was a little low. So you can't take everything off of these last year's grades from PFF. It takes watching film. It takes understanding the player and their historical, how they've done historically, and then what your analysis of them is right now. I'm going to try to leave the best I can, the Bears bias out of it. And then here's the last two, the Vikings and the Packers. There they all are. You can look through them real quick. And a lot of these aren't the real starters. I mean, they've got guys placed in there that aren't really placed in there. So as we go, here we go. All right. Number one, quarterback position. I get it. Right from the start, it's going to look like this is bias. This is going to look like me right off the bat. Nope. Bears bias. This whole thing is crap. We're going to get past the quarterback position. You can see I'm being to be very fair, but there's reasoning behind this, and I'm going to give you my reasoning behind it 100%. Okay. So number one, in the what was the interview? Adam Schefter. You have to go listen to it with Ryan Poles. I don't remember what it was called, but Ryan Schefter had an interview with Ryan Poles that came out this morning or last night. And the one thing that I caught out of there that really struck my mind was when he was talking about Caleb Williams, and he was talking about the reason of why they drafted him, is they said, you can win with Justin Fields. And I'm not a Justin Fields basher, so please don't take this as Justin Fields bashing. But it really resonated when he said it. So you can win with Justin Fields. I felt like we could win because of Caleb Williams. And he gave some comparisons to Patrick Mahomes. They win because of Patrick Mahomes. And when you look at my list here, I am not trying to be that guy. I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you why. But I truly believe Jared Goff is a mixture between those two. You can win some games because of Jared Goff. You can also win a lot of games with Jared Goff, where he's not the primary reason that you win with him. I truly believe Caleb is that special type of player that's so competitive. And when you guys watch the transformation in me, where I took just stats only, and I was trying to defend Justin Fields and say, well, look at all this stuff from Justin Fields. He's improving. He's doing all this so good. And he's getting better and better every year. And look what we could do with the Hall. And the Hall could do this. When you look at Caleb Williams on tape, he brought his team back in several games. And they were winning because of him. And they lost because of their defense. And Caleb wasn't the reason for their losing. And they were winning with him and because of him. And when he won a Heisman, it was because of him. I truly think that's what Ryan Poles saw in Caleb Williams. Now, I know the one that's going to stick out on here is Jordan Love being number 4 behind J.J. McCarthy. To me, J.J. McCarthy, you saw me do videos on him before we got to the draft. J.J. McCarthy is very accurate. He has anticipation. He throws accurately. Jordan Love doesn't throw accurately. And if you follow me on Twitter, if you follow me on Twitter, don't stop following me on Twitter. Don't follow me on Twitter. I get into it on purpose sometimes with Packers fans. But in fact, let me pull this up. Let me pull this up. This is what I'm going to show you guys about Jordan Love. And this isn't going to be a hate on Jordan Love video, but I'm going to show a lot of all the analysts out there. They're stuck on Jordan Love and they have him as the number 1 quarterback in the division. And to me, it's a disrespect thing to Jared Goff. Jared Goff has played consistently and very well over the years. No, he's not always the reason they win, but he's a great game manager. And sometimes he does provide those drives and he does a good job. But Jordan Love is the pure definition of you can win with him, but you're never going to win because of him. He is someone that's going to be the downfall of the Packers. And I guarantee you that's why they haven't extended him. The front office, they know what they have at Jordan Love. They have a fraud. They have a buffoon, a goon who 5 yards over, 5 yards under every single pass. He can't hit the broad side of the barn. But the bigger thing, when I do my research, when I do my analysis, guys, this is the stuff that I look at. Let's see how this looks on there. Let me make it a little bit bigger for you guys. So here's the Packers last year. They won a lot of games with Jordan Love. But let me show you this. Let's even look at you guys know about the San Francisco game. And if you didn't watch my short, I actually called it. I called it when he threw a pick to end the game. You look at the game ending. That's what it ended on. Jordan Love interception. That's how the game ended. You don't hear the national media talking about this. You don't hear anyone when they're talking and hyping Jordan Love up and making him this god. He's ridiculous. How many games they lost because of Jordan Love? Look at the Vegas game. How did this game end? They were 17-13. End of the game's coming up. Last possession by the Packers. Jordan Love, deep left, intended for Christian Watson, intercepted. Okay. 5. I'm going to spoil it right now. 5 games resulted in it ending by Jordan Love throwing an interception or fumbling it. 4 interceptions, 1 fumble. Oops, I clicked on the wrong thing. Didn't mean to click on the Broncos, meant to click on the game. Here's the Broncos game. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm going to highlight that's what happened. So right here, the Broncos game. Interception. Jordan Love. Interception to end the game. Jordan Love, deep pass intended for Estori, intercepted by Bilak at Denver 12. Happened 4 times. So anyways, it looks like bias. I get it, guys. It looks like bias on my part, but the reality is it's not. He's not a good quarterback. He doesn't have any good metrics. His poor pass rating is among the worst in the league. His adjusted completion percentage, which is the pure definition of a quarterback doing well outside of those around him, not having his ass saved by his receivers, being elite receivers or his coaches or everything else. And Jordan Love didn't win them any games. They were a 9-8 team. And if you look it up, the Packers were the luckiest team in the NFL last year with things outside of their control. With it estimated they won 2 games because of luck. Things like fumblings going their way or other teams missing field goals. Excuse me. If you look it up, just Google it. Luck in the NFL. There will be a really well done video. I didn't do it. If you look it up, you'll see there's a whole video. Really, really. In fact, I'm gonna Google it for you guys here. NFL luck. YouTube. In fact, there it is right there because I was watching it before. Here it is. Not stealing their stuff. I won't show the video, but I'm going to show you guys this video right here. 188,000 views. If you go watch that video, it's not even about the Packers. It's just about how luck plays a role every year in the NFL. And last year, the Packers were the luckiest team in the NFL. That's not something that's duplicatable. That's not something you can bank on. And so the Packers should have been a 7-ish win team. And yeah, they beat us twice. Imagine if we were up to snuff and if we were up to our high gear and we beat them twice. They'd be a 5-win team. I'm really not high on this Packers team. That's it. I'm going to move past it. We're going to go to the rest of the rankings. You're going to see they're not biased. Okay, but I do like Jared Goff, but I really think Caleb is the quarterback that you win because of. I like the schedule we have. I like that it starts off with an easier schedule. It's not easy. We're playing the Texans week 2. We're playing in London week 6. We're playing the Rams week 4. It's not going to be an easy schedule, but it helps move him in. And the thing I like the most is this defense seems to be clicking on all cylinders like the end of last year. One of my bold predictions, I think the Bears are going to be a top 5 team in points per game allowed. They weren't last year. If you take the second half of the season, they were a top 5 team in that with just over 17. I think 8 teams allowed less than 20 points a game. The Bears allowed 22. If it was the first half of the season, it would have been terrible. I think we were averaging 26, 27, but the second half helped bring that number down. I'm going to predict the Bears are going to be in the top 5. And if for reference of that, the top 8 teams last year allowed 20 points or fewer per game. And I think that's where we're going to start the season off, hinging on that, especially against the Titans. Their line is not proven. Their line has a lot of things to work through too, with rookie tackles and the J.C. Latham and different positions being new. They got Lloyd Cushenberry there. He had a one-hit wonder one year. I really liked him. I think it could be sustained success. We'll see if that's sustainable with him. But a new team gelling together with their line, I think this defense can really get off and running, rocking right off the bat. That'll help Caleb ease his way in because the pressure won't be on him for game 1. Then we'll see what he can do against the Texans. That's going to be a lot of fun. So there's number 1. We're going to go now to running backs. I don't have pictures for all these, but I'm going to show the different positions now. And remember in the ellipses in the inside of the bracket is where they ranked last year. And I'm going to be very fair with all these. Now, I think Aaron Jones is one of the best running backs in the division, if not the best running back. But each year, teams deploy at least 3 running backs on a consistent basis. So I took an overall view of the teams, and the Bears top to bottom, I think David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs are too strong, even with a rookie, to say we're number 1 ahead of them. Could the Bears be number 1? Absolutely. I think with DeAndre Swift, if he can get back to form, and I think Khalil Herbert is completely overlooked by most people. So I think the Bears could be. As it sits right now, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, number 1 with the Lions. The Bears would be number 2 with DeAndre Swift, Khalil Herbert. Vikings, Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler, and Josh Jacobs, who is a great addition, but did not have a spectacular year next year. He's going to be coming into his new offense, and A.J. Dillon. I think the Packers have potential, but I don't think they're anywhere near the other teams right now as far as running backs. Losing Aaron Jones was a big thing for the Packers. All right, wide receivers, far and above. I think our wide receiver room contends with anybody in the NFL. Stick us up against the Eagles, stick us up against the Seahawks, stick us up against the Dolphins. And I think our top 3 guys, I think all 3 of them will be competing. They are truly going to have a race for 1,000 yards. If you listen to Keenan Allen, he's going to play his butt off this year. The wide receiver market is set. He's open to the Bears, giving him an offer for an extension. But really, it's going to come down to how he performs this year. And I think all 3 of these guys, yeah, it's a team concept, but I think all of them are going to be fighting to be able to be number 1, to be the first one to 1,000, as DJ Morris talked about. I think Rome Odunze right off the bat is going to be right in that mix. All right. We can talk about the other teams too, but Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, that really keeps them in it. Brandon Powell is nothing to write home about. Amon-Ra St. Brown is really the talk of the town for the Lions, and I think he is a great receiver. Khalif Raymond, we'll see if he comes along. Jamison Williams has not really hit anything yet. There's a lot of hype around him when he came in. And the Packers have a lot of really good average wide receivers with a great coach, Matt LaFleur, who knows how to get them open, knows how to utilize them. And that's why you see these, but their best receiver was ranked 39th last year, but they have I think 6 receivers in the top 75. So it's a lot of average with a really good coach. So I really think the Bears wide receiver room is the best. We'll go through this a little quicker. Sorry, guys. I got on my tangent about the Packers, but I wanted to show you guys the stuff about Jordan Love and the overhype there. Okay. For tight ends, TJ Hawkinson almost had a 1,000-yard season, I think, last year, and he really is a special tight end. I am not ragging on Cole Kmet or Gerald Everett, and I think Gerald Everett is being overlooked a little bit. His athleticism is really neat to watch. As you've watched him at camp, as you watch some of his highlights, Gerald Everett, he can high point the ball. He's not just a good receiver. He's a great receiver, but he's also a good blocking tight end. I think last year was a little down for him. Sam Laporta is a good tight end. The Lions will make you think that he's better than he is, but I think Sam Laporta is a really good tight end who had a good rookie season. We'll see if he can duplicate it. So really the Vikings, Bears, and Lions to me are pretty equal as far as the tight end room goes. The Packers have some youth that could turn out to be good, but really unproven after last year. So the Packers to me are kind of in rebuild mode, in my opinion. All right. Look at our tackles. Our tackles, I think, have the potential to overtake the Vikings as the second best, but I wanted to be unbiased. I wanted to be unbiased about where the team is right now. Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker might not just be the best in the NFC North. They might be the best tackle duo in the league. The Lions really have a good situation of protecting Jared Goff, and their team is built really, really well with a really, really good coach. So the Lions, we like to hate Don Burr because he comes into conversations, but the Lions really are the team to beat this year. The Lions have earned the crown of the NFC North, and those are the teams. Yes, we beat them last year, but we got swept by the Packers last year. To me, those things, they're anomalies. If you remember my schedule thing, let's see if I have it up here. I have it somewhere. Give me 1 second, guys. If you remember my schedule, should have had this. My bad. I don't see it right in front of me. Is this it? We'll see if this is it. Boom, boom, boom. This might be it. Yeah, so if you look at this, to me, every division game is a 50-50 game because it's a division opponent. You don't know what you're going to get. And the Packers have some kind of weird fluke over us, and they shouldn't have won both those games last year, but they ended up in the first week of the season and the last week of the season. It's like the worst time to face your rival. You need to get built into the season, and if you're clicking on all cylinders, great time to face your rival at the end of the season. So with the Packers, it's all going to come down to that gauntlet for us. But you look, I put every one of those as 50-50 games for us. Every division rival, even the Vikings, even the Packers, even the Lions. Now, I think we're going to sweep the Packers. That's how I feel about it. But every one of those games is tough. So, yeah, we swept we didn't sweep the Lions. We lost it because of freaking Bumblehead that's now in Raidersville because of Luke Getsy. But we dominated him for 7 out of 8 quarters. The Packers swept us, and they beat us in both games. And it was because of our offense. Our offense played terribly. A lot of people don't even talk about how the Packers only scored 17 points against us on the last week of the season last year. The reality is, if we would have had a good offensive coordinator, if we would have schemed that thing up, if we would have played better, we would have beat them. But we didn't. So going into that, back on topic, right now I have it as the Lions 1, the Vikings 2, Bears 3, Packers 4 for tackles. Now, the Packers' offensive line is interesting to me. They have so much turnover, and they have so many guys playing different positions. In fact, if we go now to guards, Zach Tom wasn't a center last year, and they have him listed as the center this year. He played decently as a tackle last year, but they moved him from tackle, and they've drafted a rookie, Jordan Morgan, who I think they only drafted because they had Terry and Arnold snapped up right from underneath them by the Lions trading up and getting ahead of them. That's what they needed. They needed defensive backs. Now they overcompensated in the late rounds, and they picked up all these defensive backs that nothing near Terry and Arnold level. So now they're stuck with Jordan Morgan. Jordan Morgan, as we know, we love to boast. He had his butt handed to him by Austin Booker in the Senior Bowl and Senior Bowl practices, and he really did. I mean, it was embarrassing. It wasn't just one play. Packers, it was one play. No, it was the entire practice. It was like 4 or 5 plays. If you go watch the entire thing, he handed it to him. So that's going to be fun to see that matchup when we face them. But Jordan Morgan's a rookie, so you don't know. And with Rasheed Walker, they don't really have a balance now. Now, what I like about the Bears is Braxton Jones is he's improving every year. His base is getting better. His bull rush is getting better. And Darnell Wright improved throughout his rookie year. Too many penalties and a few too many sacks given up, but he played through a lot of injuries. In fact, you watched him take on Max Crosby, who, in my opinion, is the best of the best right now in the NFL, with one hand at certain points in the Raiders game. So I think they have a ton of potential, but I can't put them ahead of Christian Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill and Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker at this point. So I have to put the Bears third, but I think we could pass up the Vikings. It's going to be hard to pass up the Lions with their tackles. And then back to the guards. This all hinges. Now, I've got it different than what we showed you at the beginning. I've got Tevin Jenkins, Nate Davis, and Coleman Shelton. And I really don't know if Nate Davis will be starting midseason. I really think this could be a Ryan Bates spot. Everyone talks about how Ryan Poles loves Ryan Bates, and he tried to trade it for him last year. And we put a qualifying offer in, and the Bills matched it, and that's why we didn't get him. And the Bills matched the offer. That's a restricted free agent. That's how it works. And they ended up keeping him, and we wanted him, and now we went and traded for him, and we gave up a 5th-round pick or a 6th-round pick for him. Guys, a 6th-round pick is a flyer pick. I mean, we're talking about this like we meant for him to be a starter. Now, I don't disagree. I think Ryan Bates is a really good talent, but I think he was brought in specifically for this, for Nate Davis. I think he was brought in as a security blanket because Ja'Tyre Carter does not cut the mustard. Coleman Shelton last year was the 17th ranked center, and he has good experience, full years playing experience. He is a center. He's an actual center in the National Football League. Ryan Bates can fill in. We'll see how all that pans out, but still, I love the depth of this team, so I do have them behind the Lions. This is where the Packers are a little bit stronger. Eldon Jenkins, Josh Myers, but they've shifted all these guys around. Their center last year was butt, to be honest. I mean, he was just garbage. So that's why they're moving Zach Tom there. I just don't know how it's going to cohese with the Packers. And you never underestimate the Packers, but I think their line is their weakness this year, and a reason that we can really be into these games. If we can put pressure on Jordan Love by getting the pressure in there, by having some of these guys step up, that's where you're going to see the game impacted against the Packers, and I want to see that really bad. But as far as the Lions go, the Lions are far and above number one. Number one center in the league. Graham Glasgow is a guard. Kevin Zeitler is a guard. As well as their two tackles, Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker. I mean, they probably have the best offensive line in the entire league. So I can't put anybody above the Lions if we were doing any division. I'm looking at some of these comments. Sorry, I try to do all this. So Adam, why did Poles want Bates when he made an offer for him? Bates is a really good run defender and pass blocker. I like the potential of Bates. He's just played more primarily at guard. He started a season at guard, but he does have some hitches too. In fact, let's go. I've done this a few times. I have no problem with Ryan Bates, guys. I like the potential of Ryan Bates, but I don't think Ryan Bates is there. I don't think he's it. I don't think he's arrived. You know what I mean? I don't think it's done. So let's pull this up. I was looking at Jalen Jones. Hold up. I'm always looking at stuff on here. We got to switch it to Ryan Bates. Ryan Bates. We'll try to keep this in the 45 minutes. Free Talk Tuesday. I'll do my best. All right. Go to blocking. In fact, we can just go to overall offense. See, last year he only played 35 snaps, which is fine. Okay, but let's look at 2022. 330. Man, let's go back to blocking. All right, so 2022. Are we on 2022? You see, he started guard. He was a right guard, starting every game. Center. You see the game here against Detroit. Not the best game when he started at center. Not terrible, but not the best game either. His pass blocking needs a little bit of work. His run blocking needed a little bit of work. But really, he's done well over the years. And this is just his filling in. But you see when he started every day, it's just an unknown. His pressure rate was 28 total pressures on 330 snaps. Or 615 snaps. So it was good. It wasn't elite. So I have no problem with him competing to start. And I'd love to see him start. I'd love to see with 2 years under control. I'd love to see him start. So we'll see what happens. That's all I can say on that one. Let's see if there's any other chat right here right now. Okay, let's see. Maybe we'll have Connor Williams by the time we play divisional games. I'm not going to bank on it. In fact, I'm starting to think Calais Campbell might be what we do with that money. I posted something on Twitter about how he hyped up Gervon Dexter. And while I don't think Calais Campbell is a must for us, I think he could be really valuable to bring in with the experience he has playing 3-tech, nose tackle, over tackle, on the edge. Like he's played all those positions at an extremely high level. In fact, I'm going to go there and show you the ads. I'm getting distracted today. So here's Calais Campbell. And you look at him year after year, he's just consistent. He does have some tackling issues. That might be more about the scheme. Not my favorite part of it, but his defense, his cover, his pass rush grades. Look at the total pressures he gets year after year after year, and he plays different positions. He's played in different positions across the line. When you see those blue overall grades, those green overall grades, he's worth bringing in. To me, I'm starting to think he might be a great fit because you look at his size too, 6'8", 282 with his speed. Yes, I get it. He's 38 years old by the time the season starts. But he was hyping up Gervon Dexter. He never played for the Bears. This is while he was with Atlanta. He was hyping up Gervon Dexter. Gervon Dexter now follows him. So I don't know if there's more of a connection there or not. I would like to see Connor Williams, but I think the Bears might be content to run it with Coleman Shelton and Ryan Bates this year. If you're going to ask me, I think right now our top 3 picks next year would definitely be defensive end or defensive interior, one of the two, center. And then I think with the way the wide receiver market's going, I think we pick another wide receiver with our second round pick next year. So all right, we're getting a little distracted. Yep, I agree with you, Cliff. I do think he saw a lot of the beast mentality with Ryan Bates, and that's what I want to see in camp. Whoever, if he comes out of camp as the winner, 100% hands down, that's what it was supposed to be. I I just think Coleman Shelton has a lot of experience with a rookie quarterback that might be more valuable. All right. Let's get back to this. Let me remove this. Let's get back to this real quick. And I'm going to go through this quickly because I know we're running short on my time for Free Talk Tuesdays. So here's overall on the offensive side. I've got the Bears. Low score is better. Low score is better. And I know it might look I think I might have screwed that up a little bit. I think I might have them backwards on one of them. I did. All right. So I think the Lions were supposed to be 10 and we're supposed to be 11. All right. So the Lions have us by a slight edge. Now let's look at the defense. Marcus Davenport and Aiden Hutchinson, you can't pass that up as the number one edge rushers. This is the only area I have the Bears as their biggest weakness as a 4. The other teams are clearly ahead of us. Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, Jonathan Bullard. But I also think this is one of the biggest what-ifs for the Bears. What if Austin Booker really ends up being Max Crosby-Esch? I don't see it the first half of the season, but if he gets his legs under him and he plays that well, it could be special. What if Jake Martin plays like he played in 2022 with the Texans? What if he plays that style of ball? That's Yannick Ngakoue style of ball that should have been the Yannick Ngakoue that, the Yannick Ngakoue we got was not the Yannick Ngakoue we wanted. So there's a lot of what ifs, but I'm trying to be very realistic here. We go to defensive interior, and I've got the same thing. We're in third. This is where the Packers have an edge on us. Their defensive interior, defensive edges. Now, really, the interior tackles for the Lions with DJ Reader being added to their team, they're going to be pretty stout on their defensive line. It's going to be hard to face them on their edges and interior. They are the team to beat this year in the NFC North. We have not earned that yet. But with Gervon Dexter, Andrew Billings played a lot better. I'm going to do videos that show the individual breakdowns of our team by position. I did that after last year. I'm going to do it again after camp. After the 53-man roster is set, I'm going to do that for all of our different players, the positions for our team, for the individual spots. I think Gervon Dexter is absolutely going to have a breakout year. You saw him the second half of the year last year. In the last 5 games, he had 4 sacks, but not only that, he was getting the ball better. Zach Pickens was probably the highest raiser that hasn't been getting the praise that he deserves. His PFF grade on the last half of the season increased by like 10 full points. He was better at run defending. He was getting pressure on the quarterback. Yeah, he didn't have the godly sack numbers, but he was in there on every play. I really like what I saw by Zach Pickens, and I think he's being overlooked. So right here I have the Lions, Packers, then us, then the Vikings. For linebackers, it's pretty easy to have the Bears as number 1, especially if Tremaine Edmonds has a little bit of a jump up here. Remember, in the parentheses doesn't mean everything. You showed the Vikings there with Ivan Pace Jr. at 16 and Blake Cashman at 8. That doesn't mean everything. It's some of that's coverage, some of that's other factors. TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds are a 1-2 punch that nobody else has in the NFC North, and it's really fun to watch us. I'm going to get through this really quick. This is another one that Packers fans will debate us on. The only reason I even put them at number 2 here is just because of Jair Alexander. He is a great lockdown corner. He's not Jalen Johnson, and I don't think he's even ahead of Tyreek Stevenson. If you haven't watched my video on Tyreek Stevenson, you should. It's really good about Tyreek Stevenson and the progress he made as a rookie. Once he got his rookie legs under him, he was number 8 in the entire NFL on NFL pass rating against the second half of the season. He had 4 picks the second half of the season, a forced fumble. He still let the Packers get one over his head, but he was defending it really well. Yeah, they got a touchdown on him, but he defended it really well. That was not his fault. So it happens sometimes. It doesn't happen to Jalen Johnson. But I think Tyreek Stevenson will be a legit threat this year. Packers are right behind them because of Jair Alexander, Carlton Davis, Terrion Arnold is a rookie. I couldn't put them any higher. Brian Branch is a slot. And then as we go to safeties to finish it off, I love our safety room. I think we have the potential to be number 1. But until we see how Kevin Byard and Jaquan Brisker play together, I couldn't put them above the Lions. I think the Lions are slightly ahead of us. The Packers I would have had at 4th if they didn't sign Xavier McKinney. If you watched my preseason story or after the season, I wanted us to sign Xavier McKinney. I also love Kevin Byard, so I'm not saying he's not as good as Xavier McKinney, but Xavier McKinney had a monster year last year for the Giants, so he's a huge addition for the Packers. But then they have a rookie, Javon Bullard, to team up with him as their 1-2 punch. How's that going to go? Nobody knows. But Kevin Byard today in practice is the one who had a pick on Caleb Williams. So it's too early for all those things. But if you're asking me to predict, I think the Bears, Jaquan Brisker and Kevin Byard could be the number one in the division, but it's real close. Melifuanu and Kirby Joseph are a really good 1-2 punch with the Lions, and I think it's really going to look like that. It's going to look like the Bears and the Lions at the top fighting for 1 and 2, and it's going to be the Packers and the Vikings fighting for 3 and 4. So overall, I didn't do a special teams, but if you didn't see from today, Torrey Taylor, he's worth a 4th-round pick. We did good. We did good. I think it was something like 70 yards and then side spin rate. I showed it at the beginning of this video. So we win the special teams too. But overall, here's how it lights up. And we're looking golf scores. We want low scores. So overall, the Lions, they have 20. We have 21. Packers 31 and Vikings 34. So if you're asking me where I think this team ranks, right now we're number 2. We're right behind the Lions, and it's going to be a 1-2 punch. We're both making the playoffs, and it's going to come down to those divisional games as to who wins this division. And I sincerely believe the other 2 aren't even going to have winning records. So, all right. So let's see the chat here. That's what I got for our divisional rankings. Let me know what you guys think in the comments after the video's over. Lay it down there. I want to see what you guys think or agree with, because you hear the national media, they talk up this Packers team like they are some sort of something special. They have a great head coach. I will not dispute that. I think he's the 2nd best head coach in the NFL. I think he's the reason they win games. I don't think they have something sustainable with the luck they received last year. I don't think they have something sustainable with Jordan Love. I think they've got a great young core of wide receivers that could turn out to have a couple good ones, but they don't have an elite wide receiver that's going to be special. They don't have a great offensive line. They have a good defensive line. Their secondary is still weak. They've got Jair Alexander. Other than that, I'm not worried about the Packers other than the coaching. And we brought in a whole new coaching staff this year that we don't know how it's going to look yet, but I really have faith in Shane Waldron right now. You listen to Cole Kmet talk about Shane Waldron, and they said, well, is this the same thing Luke Getsy ran? That's the question they had in the press conference today. Well, he said 70% of teams run the West Coast offense. So it's not the same. It's how you call the plays. And it was kind of funny because it was a dig on Luke Getsy without being a dick. Like Cole Kmet, go back and listen to it. He wasn't being a jerk, but he was saying every 70% of teams run the same offense. So yeah, we know the basic concepts of this, but it's how teams draw up their own plays and call the game. And to me, that was huge because I think they've already bought in to what Shane Waldron brings to this team. And I think he's going to bring a lot of mismatched things and a lot of out of norm things that other teams haven't seen before. Whereas the Bears from last year, if you look at the Packers and what they said after the games and how they talked about the Bears, predictable. That's why they owned us. We were predictable. Luke Getsy alone is going to bring a whole new dynamic. Sorry, not Luke Getsy. Shane Waldron is going to bring a whole new dynamic that Luke Getsy didn't bring. Luke Getsy, the spy from the Packers, made us too predictable. They knew him, but they knew us because of what he was calling, and it was embarrassing how he called it. All right, that's what I think. Let me know what you guys think. Let's look at the chat for just a second, then I'm going to wrap it up. We're going on 50 minutes here. I appreciate all of you guys tuning in. This is a fun off season, like I said. I don't know why, but I really feel like this is special. Today, I'm just excited to be a Bears fan today. Maybe it's because minicamp is here. Then we're going to have a break for like 6 weeks once this week is over. I don't know, but I really feel like this is a special team. When you hear things about Caleb Williams being competitive and having a drive and being a humble listener, listening, taking advice, taking it in, and then, the little things like texting or calling Matt Eberflus at 10 o'clock at night or Shane Waldron and saying, what about this? Or what about this? Or why are we doing this? And they said, that's a little bit annoying, but we love him understanding the why. We want him to ask those type of questions. All right. Let's see here. What do we got in the chat? Appreciate all of you guys being here. I must have some guys blocked. Is Don Burr in here? Because I blocked Don Burr a long time ago. Is Don Burr in the chat? Because I blocked him, so I don't see his stuff. You guys are talking about Don. Come on, Don. If you're in here, buddy, give us a bear down, brother. Give us a bear down. I want to see a bear down from you. Claws up and bear down. I didn't even talk any smack on the Lions. I gave Lions proper respect today. It's going to be a fun rivalry to have. So, yes, he's in here. All right. Appreciate you being here. Great stuff, Adam Yabber is in here. Appreciate all you guys being here. I blocked him so I can't see him. So hopefully he's not causing some mayhem for you guys. I hate when he interrupts the chats and interrupts the videos, but this will be a fun season. I appreciate all you guys being here. Let me know what you think about the divisional rankings for each individual position. To me, it's going to come down to those two teams right there. It's going to come down to the Bears and the Lions, and it's going to come down to those two divisional games against each other. Yeah, we beat them for 7 out of 8 quarters last year. They did come back on us. Whole different offense, whole different defense, very conservative. But I think Jared Goff is a great quarterback, and I think they have a really, really solid trenches, offense and defensive line. How we're going to stack up against it is going to come down to those games. So let me know what you guys think. Until next time, we're going to wrap this thing up. I appreciate all of you being here. Have a great rest of minicamp. I don't know how much stuff I'll put up, but I'll put stuff out every week, and I'll let you guys know any updates that come along. And until then, claws up and bear down.